The SSI program was originally formed over 50 years ago, back in the 70s, as an anti-poverty program, right? That's the whole purpose. Well, unfortunately, today, the SSI benefits are nowhere near the federal poverty line as far as what they're actually supposed to be, right? So therefore, the SSI program and the benefits administered to an individual and a household of two, as in a married couple, something like that, again, are significantly below the actual federal poverty line. In fact, let's pop this screenshot up right here, right now. Feel free to look through these numbers right here, but this is just a screenshot off of the HHS website, the Health and Human Services website, showing the new federal poverty guidelines for 2026 based on household size. Okay, the number that I want to look at here is the top one for a household size of one, $15,960. Okay, just keep that number in mind there. That's the number that I really want to focus on. But obviously, there's all kinds of numbers here on this chart, and feel free to look through that. All right, so anyway, here's what I want to talk about, which is, as an SSI beneficiary, okay, the maximum you can get right now in 2026 is $994 a month, okay? But if we look at the details of 994, we multiply that by 12 months, comes up with a little less than $12,000 for the entire year, right? A little less than $12,000. However, if you look at the federal poverty line, again, in that chart there, for a household of one individual is $15,960. Seems a little weird because $15,960 is the federal poverty line, but yet as an SSI beneficiary, getting the maximum of $994, you're actually below the federal poverty line by, almost $4,000. Yeah, exactly. So here's the deal. If we take the $15,960 federal poverty line and we divide it by 12 months, it comes out to $1,330 a month. That's what SSI benefits are supposed to be. That's how much they're supposed to be. Remember, I said this earlier, and I've said this recently in other videos. The SSI program was formed as an anti-poverty program. Therefore, this program is supposed to be keeping parity, as in equal to, the federal poverty line every single year. It's not. It's way below the federal poverty line at a tune of $336 a month below the federal poverty line, right? That's about $4,000 a year below the federal poverty line. That $15,960 for the federal poverty line of a household of one, again, just looking at that, again, divided out, $1,330 a month is what that comes out to be. So therefore, as an SSI beneficiary, that's where your benefits are supposed to be. Now, one thing that I want to point out really quickly. Recently, you heard me talk about the SSI Restoration Act, right? SSI Restoration Act. You heard me talk about that. One of the main provisions within the SSI Restoration Act, in that video that I had out just not that long ago, 2 weeks ago, something like that, in that video, when I had that video out, I was talking about that. That's one of the main provisions within it. Raise SSI benefits up to the federal poverty line, and then again, index it to the federal poverty line as it's supposed to be every single year. Therefore, that's what this that piece of legislation would do, is it would raise benefits up to the federal poverty line, going from $994 as an individual up to $1,330 a month as an individual. An increase of $336 a month is how much these benefits would need to be increased just to be at parity with the federal poverty line, as the program was originally set up to do 50 some odd years ago, 54 years ago or so, give or take a little bit, when it was brought in, right? Drop a comment down below. Would an extra $336 a month be a big deal for you as an SSI beneficiary right now? Would that help a little bit? I think for a lot of people, the answer would be yes, right? If your SSI benefit was increased up to $1,330 a month from the maximum of $994, would that help you out a little bit? I think so. Again, I don't want to assume. I don't want to sit here and act like, I think $336 a month would be very helpful. But I think it'd probably be pretty helpful for a lot of people, right? That'd be a huge increase. But remember, it's not like, whoa, that'd be such a great gift from them and that'd be so great. It would be, but this is what they're supposed to be at anyway. This is where your benefits are supposed to be. This is not supposed to be like some big thing where it's like, oh, well, maybe someday they should do that. No, this is where they're supposed to be, but they're not, because of lackluster cost of living adjustments that have not kept up with real price increases, real inflation adjustments, and then also we have the element of compounding and time. Because of all of that together, we have this huge discrepancy of $336 a month below the federal poverty line as far as where they're supposed to be. Does that make sense? But again, how could we do this? How could we fix it? The injustices that are going out, right? Yeah, pretty much. But how could we fix this? That's why I've been saying, and why I said in that video just the other day when I was talking about the SSI Restoration Act, I said it's a great piece of legislation. If they were to just pass the SSI Restoration Act, that in and of itself would raise benefits up to the federal poverty line. Now, I want to be fair with you. They have not passed that piece of legislation yet. But if they were to do that, that'd be massively helpful for SSI beneficiaries and give a huge, permanent, and instant boost to benefits significantly. This could almost be likened to the Social Security Fairness Act. Remember when they passed that back in early 2025? I think it was signed into law on maybe like January 5th or so of 2025. And then there were about 3.1 million people that got huge back payments sent to them. The average payment was $6,710 was the average back payment. And then the average person got an extra like $300 to $700 a month more forever. Permanent raise to their benefit just because that one piece of legislation. That was 3.1 million people.